Dave Nasty here at Next Level Guitar. How you doing? We're going to take a look at this slow blues E track. And I'm going to give you some of the mindset that I like to think about when I'm playing over a slow blues. We're going to strictly stick with minor pentatonic for this. We could do a little bit of major, but for these particular examples, what I want to show you is how to build your ideas. We've got so many great licks, right? Basic ideas, but they're going to be comprised of these scales here. So let's go ahead and break these down. We're of course going to use our first form of our minor pentatonic. And we're going to use a little bit of our last form of our minor pentatonic, and it's right here. What I usually like to do is start with what's rooted in tradition. One of the licks is this guy. And I love this phrase because I can play it so many different ways, and it's made up of so many different things. Like, don't just look at it as one big long. Remember, this thing is comprised of this. That's its own lick right there. It's right here. That's another of its own licks, and even just this. You know, so each component of that can be something. And that's what's great about some of these phrases, is that if you break them up, you got a lot more than just the initial. Every time I do this, I'm going to change the way I end it, right? And that to me is what helps me improvise. If I get stuck in my head, I go right back to the things that I've practiced, and then I start with what got me going in the first place, which was taking a lick like this. And we're going to call this number one. Then we're going to end this phrase with another great lick that looks like this. So when I'm hearing a track like this, I might think, okay, well, I can go like this one time. And then I can vary it. It's like variations of a theme. Maybe this is my theme right now. How can I do that differently? Maybe I'll go... and I'll bend it, or maybe I won't do the whole thing. Maybe I'll go... and might come up with these subtle differences. So that way it doesn't sound the same every single time you do it. But look at what we got already. We have... and I can combine that with this. And they're just little pieces that we're starting to put together in all these different ways, and make sure that we think to ourselves, one doesn't always have to be followed by the other. We can mix them in any fashion that we like. And that, with this whole approach of space, really lends itself to sound great. So before I get too much further, let's kick up the track and let's show these things in context. I think I got a lot of mileage out of just working one idea. You know, I get lost in it, I make all those ugly faces that only a mother could love, and I try to grab onto those notes and hold on for dear life. And every time I do it, I have to be conscious of my attack on the notes, what my vibrato is, and these are all things, as you become comfortable with these phrases, that you too will start to think about as you blend them together. And again, they're just building blocks of ideas. All really kind of starting with that one. And this, to me, because I end on my E, It's like if I spoke for way too long, but at least I ended on a good note, right? And I ended that sentence with good punctuation. So a lot of times finishing on this note is going to be fantastic, as well as even bending this note up, because it's becoming my E. It's becoming the octave of this note when I do that. And a lot of times that's why you'll hear people end with those particular notes, when doing licks like this especially. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.